Nothing like the smell of spoilers. What's up, guys? I'm Hunter, and here we are to do a breakdown / discussion and analysis of the spoilers for chapter 265 of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is known as... Wait a minute. No way. Is this chapter not... I don't see a number. Is this chapter not the decisive battle in the uninhabited demon of Shinjuku part 37? Have we actually changed chapter time? Hold on. I feel nostalgic already. But hold on, now I'm a little confused. I have no idea what this chapter is called. I was ready to just call it 37 and keep it pushing. But this chapter. It has a lot yet a little. A lot that I can't read. But I do have rough translations for at least half of it. And for the I'll see. Maybe I will do a long discussion. Maybe I won't do a long discussion. This chapter, once again, like I said, has a lot and a little. But let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into it. Heading me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, I'm setting the timer for 15 minutes to stop myself. But luckily enough, once again, like I said, this chapter has a lot yet a little. Essentially, long story short, this is a conversation essentially being forced upon Sukuna. Yuji doesn't necessarily identify it as his domain. And Sukuna even asked if this is your domain. And both seem to be somewhat at a loss. Sukuna recognizes this as a phenomena that Yuji can force upon other sorcerers. If you'll remember, it's the same phenomena he forced upon Choso, it's the same phenomena he forced upon Todo. It's a phenomena that ultimately Gege in an interview said wasn't a phenomena, or at least wasn't a cursed technique, but it may be an innate ability of Yuji. However, I do want to say something. At least in the rough translations I saw so far, Sukuna placed this entirely as a Yuji-based ability, but notably, I do think it may just be another one of the mutations of one of Sukuna's own abilities. If you'll remember, Sukuna, once again, can kind of cross into any realm he pleases, including the realm of the afterlife, or the innate domain of someone, or the void that walks somewhere between reality and a dream. If you'll remember, when he was first interacting with Jogo, it was first in the real world, then he toasted him up, and then he was in that weird void space with Jogo, and told him that he was strong. He was able to walk that line with Jogo into what seemed like maybe the afterlife, maybe the void, that place where cursed spirits go to reincarnate and reappear tens, if not hundreds of years later. Sukuna was able to cross into that barrier. He's able to interact with and send Jogo off, essentially. We see this again as a not just cursed spirit exclusive thing with Kashimo. Kashimo gets sent back into a plane of some sort, possibly the afterlife, possibly something else, and Sukuna does just walk in there, fully healed, full form, all that, and has the whole conversation with Kashimo that wraps up Kashimo's character quite nicely. And it seems like Yuji has a similar ability, except his is, like I said, mutated. Just like Sukuna's shrine is reflected in Yuji, but it's mutated. And everything about Yuji is to some degree mutated. And I think that ability of Sukuna's is being reflected here by Yuji. The ability to force this conversation on Sukuna and actively spend time with him is something that Yuji can do because of his connection to Sukuna. Now, of course, that leads to this chapter being quite peaceful despite the sheer animosity between these two combatants. Shockingly enough, Yuji is quite calm. Like, horrifically calm. Like calm to the point of nigh on, like, unreasonable banality. That's not a word. But, like, I don't know. I'll take it. Mainly because I think he knows to some degree that he's safe here, at least as long as he wills it. Because, notably, when he tells Sukuna to get up and follow him, Sukuna doesn't fight back. Heck, this entire chapter goes on with Sukuna not even trying to counter domain. If this were domain, he doesn't try to do anything. He asks if it's Yuji's innate domain, but like I mentioned, Yuji doesn't know. Sukuna doesn't know. They have no idea what they're doing. But Yuji, once again, seems to have some sort of idea, if at least of their location. He ultimately explains his past, his backstory, his history, and the idea that, yeah, you know, I spent a couple of years here, moved over there for my grandfather's work. You know, I did what I had to do and do what I had to did. And they essentially end up exploring what I believe... Let me check the translations. I believe it's Sendai. I want to say it's Sendai. Maybe it's Sendai. Maybe it's not Sendai. Let me look. As they stroll through the city, Sukuna realizes what's happening with him, a rare phenomenon when Yuji connects with a sorcerer during a battle. Sukuna asks if this is Yuji's domain. Yuji says he wants to talk with Sukuna for a bit. Okay, so Yuji doesn't outright deny. Oh, no, he does say it, at least in the next translation. What is this? Is this really your domain? Shut up. I was desperate, so I don't even know what this is. I wanted time to talk to you. Come on, let's talk for a bit. So they are essentially just going through Yuji's past, and he explains that he was born in Sendai, but he lived in this area because, for one reason or another, I don't know. Let's see. Wait. As they go through the underground passage, Yuji starts narrating to Sukuna about his childhood. Yuji says, I was born in Sendai, but I lived around here when I was 6 or 7 years old, until I moved back to Sendai because of my grandpa's work. I came back after 10 years to attend my grandpa's friend's funeral. I wouldn't say there was a huge drop in the population, but I was still surprised. I wondered if a guy like that would have come to attend the funeral if my grandpa died first. And notably, that's what a lot of the chapter is about, at least for the first half of it. It's Yuji just kind of giving Sukuna a rundown of who he is as a person, letting Sukuna start to understand him. Because a big thing that's been about Sukuna's character for the entire series, basically, is this consistent idea that he doesn't really care about people or like their existence or anything they stand for. It's kind of irrelevant to him. So Yuji's essentially forcing this understanding between the two. And we see that once again Sukuna has so little reign over it that they kind of just wander the entire city. So Yuji explains how he lost the slime here and ultimately a lot of it was gone. They end up going to work together to catch crawfish. Sukuna ends up catching a bigger one, but Yuji ends up catching a rare one. This is just legitimately nephew and uncle bonding time, father and son bonding time. This is the two connecting, admittedly in a non-standard way, but they're connecting in an empty world, a world of just the two of them and seemingly some natural creatures, but that's it. Both walk around, hands in their pockets, casual. This is admittedly a bit strange. Maybe more than a bit strange, but it is a bit strange, mainly because of what these two characters are to each other. On a macro scale, these two characters, not even on a micro scale, on a macro scale, their impact upon each other is drastic. As much as Sukuna wouldn't like to admit it, Yuji's just as important to Sukuna as Sukuna is important to Yuji. Both are the facilitation for each other's respective lives at this point. So to see these two, who would, in most scenarios, if not just the very last chapter, were consumed by a mania and rage so deep, to see them so cordial with each other, even if it's under forced, misunderstood circumstances, is intriguing. And notably, they spend all this time walking and talking and reflecting upon each other, noticing the connection of other people, spending time doing archery. Sukuna reveals that he actually was a pretty good archer back in the day. He has the experience that Yuji doesn't because of the time of the Heian era. And it's just the story of Yuji, his past, his future, and very specifically, ultimately, who he was influenced by. And we get a couple people here. Notably, every single character who's shown here is dead. At least as far as we know from Yuji's perspective, and I think this is Gege giving us a rundown. 2 characters are good MP here, so the copium, I think it ends here. Yeah, go away. Sorry, I feel bad. Hopefully none of that comes off too bad on the mic. But we see Wasuke, his grandfather, Junpei, his first real organic friend in the Jujutsu world. He was kind of forcefully met. Nobara and Megami. Nanami, his first sensei. Nobara, one of his first friends in the Jujutsu world. Choso, his older brother from the same mother. Satoru Gojo, the sensei who saved his life. And ultimately, Mahito and Sukuna. All of these people have had influence on Yuji Tadori. Of various degrees, some positive, some negative, some both of the same, where every single person he's interacted with has sort of made him who he is. And it's an idea that I typically fundamentally agree with. I think ultimately we as humans are naturally decided by what we interact with. We are not capable, for the most part, since we are such social creatures, we're not capable of developing or claiming that we are all ourselves. As long as you grew in an area with influences, and especially with other people, you are a reflection of those who you hang around and those who raised you, because simply that is how it works. Humans are blank slates that pick up on everything, from language to mannerisms to movements, all that. And Yuji fully acknowledges the role that the good people in his life had to play, like Nanami, like Gojo, like Nobara, to what the bad people in his life had to play, such as Mahito and Sukuna, two characters who ruin Yuji's lives, and, well, I say lives, plural, but really live in more ways than one. But in the end, it seems like Yuji, to some degree, isn't even necessarily all too mad. He just, once again, wants to understand. He wants to know Sukuna. That's the whole reason he wanted to talk to him in the first place, to know Sukuna. But Sukuna admits what he always admitted. Doesn't matter to me. Who I am, who you are, what we are, it's never mattered. It never has, it never will. And no amount of yapping or nonsense or whatever drivel falls from Yuji's mouth will change what Sukuna believes about what people are. Once again, it's a battle of two men with unbreakable ideas. One who wishes to accept all those around him, and the other who wishes to leave all of them behind. And in the end, it's an irreconcilable... In English, how do I say that word? It's a difference that they cannot overcome. Not irreconcilable. I forget. How do you say that word? Hold on. Irreconcilable. I'm not sure that's... Hold on. I'm just going to try and type it out. Hold on. How do I say that darn word? Irreconcilable? How do I say that? Load! Load!
Irreconcilable.
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 Irreconcilable. It's a strange word. Irreconcilable difference. The value of life, the value of a person, the value of who they are. And once Yuji realizes that ultimately, even after this, even after attempting to reach Sukuna on that human level, try to understand him, trying to empathize with him, trying to see himself as a person, in spite of all that Sukuna's done, in spite of all that Sukuna's taken away, in spite of all that Sukuna's ruined, Yuji accepts it. Just in the same way that he had to accept Mahito, and the fact that Mahito could simply never understand him, and he could never understand Mahito, in spite of them both being the same in their own weird, strange, twisted ways. Yuji accepts that fine. Unc, Dad, you don't want to accept me. You don't want to accept anyone. And that's okay. But, naturally, I cannot let you continue to do what you have done. You, as all of your kind, must be judged for the lives you've taken and the wrongs you've wreaked upon this world. And as you can see, Yuji's eyes were not spiraled. They were not awoken. Not yet, at least. But upon his realization that Sukuna is something somewhat beyond saving, beyond understanding, and beyond a care or desire to be saved or understood, Yuji Itadori looks at him. His eyes now once again awoken. He declares, Unc, Dad, whatever I have to call you, whatever your real name truly is, you will fall. You'll fall and you'll pay for everything you did. And notably, Sukuna cannot stand the insult of a creature as insignificant, as irrelevant, and as worthless as an offspring of a madman and his other half lost to time dare challenging him. So even as he is trapped within the body of a boy, he shall tear that same boy limb from limb and slaughter everyone that's left, whether it's the last thing he does. And hey, I like that. Once again, this is a chapter of conversation, more so a chapter of discourse, discussion, and not necessarily even debate, because Sukuna's not here to debate. And while Yuji tried to extend a hand to understand, Sukuna smacked it away. And with that being the case, now there's nothing to do but conflict. If there was ever any hope that Sukuna was going to be like Kurama or be like any character who would come to understand Yuji as long as they had sit down or conversation, if there's anyone even hoping that at all, then it's gone. Sukuna's a monster, no longer a man. And unfortunately, a monster, like a bad animal, must be put down when it begins to threaten the lives of others. And Ryoen Sukuna has done more than threaten. So it seems like the battle is going to enter a new stage, a new dimension, a new plane, a new world. And I'm interested to see how it goes. Now that both have been restored to a state of seemingly pure equality, I wonder if we're going to reflect back to the real world, if we're actually going to leap into Yuji's real domain, if Megami's going to have any play in this. There's so much still unknown with how this chapter went and how this chapter ends. But once again, I think this will be one of my favorite chapters in retrospect because I like character work. And this is seemingly enough the most character work we've gotten from Yuji in a minute. And even a bit of character work from Sukuna, considering his rage here at the end, at the declaration that he is to be judged by someone so much lesser. So, it's a very, very, very good chapter. I like it. I know a lot of people aren't going to like it because it's not traditional JJK, big, scream, punch, kick, black flash, throw through building, action. But the main thing I like about JJK, shockingly enough, isn't just the fights. It's actually the characters. And our main protagonists and our main antagonists having this moment of a stalwart connection where they have nothing but each other to relate to, empathize with, and communicate with. It's real good stuff. And I'm excited to see where Gege takes the battle. In any way, any shape, and ultimately, any form. But I have 7 seconds left. And I'm not sure. I'll see. I'll wait. I'll do a long spoiler discussion. I do have more thoughts. Just in general. But my 15-minute timer is up. So, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave enraged royalty. Enraged as in like, oh, I'm so mad. Royalty as in the crown. Enraged royalty in the comment section down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks will include the live reaction to this very chapter, ad-free variations of all my videos, and if you become a $25 Patreon or $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below where you can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That with the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to thank you to our $3 members, Zena, Greyhound, Astro, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, G Prosper, Red Wolf 4765, and Paris Arnold. I'd like to give another big ol' thank you to our $5 patrons, Sean, Sammy, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, Josh Brown, and A+A. And I'd like to give a great big thank you to our $7 members, Autumn Mornings Lazo, Fine, and That Guy. And I'd like to give a great big thank you to our $10 members, Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and Akid's Void. And I'd like to give big, hefty, juicy thank yous to our $10 patrons, Panda Goat, Michael Williamson, Metal Solid Crisis, Joaquin Munoz, and Idemo Kami. And I'd like to give the biggest, juiciest, meatiest, sloppiest, and heftiest thank you of them all to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.